The easiest way to get rich in your 20s. I frequently receive the question of what type of business to start.
Oh, hell no!
Based on my experience of dropping out of college and accumulating $15,000 in debt, then working up to making $20,000 to $30,000 per month, I've learned several lessons.
Hey, that's pretty good.
One of the most crucial ones is that you should not start a business if you lack the necessary skill sets. I'm the type of kid who's constantly scouring YouTube for ideas on side hustles and ways to make money because I don't want to be trapped in the 9-to-5 world. I don't see myself working all days of the week just to stay afloat and just get enough money to get by. I believe that the education system and eventually accumulating debt are a scam designed for people to keep on working for others indefinitely. It was my desire to escape the system and regain my freedom, and I know that in order to do this, I need to work harder than everyone else and make significant changes in my life. I want to be someone who's not afraid to challenge the system and break free from the notion that the only way to get rich is to start a business. Business is the ability to offer a product or service that provides value to the market based on your skill set. To start a business, I suggest that you figure out who you need to become and what skills you need to acquire. The first business venture that I started was a car detailing business. I would approach my neighbors with a sales pitch and then proceed to clean their cars. With time, me and my high school friend scaled the business and began earning around $1,000 per weekend. However, I found the Texas heat to be unbearable to work in for long hours. Therefore, I saved up the money and moved on to e-commerce. In the beginning, I made $4,000 in the first month, followed by $18,000 in the second month and $35,000 in the third month. Although I was generating high revenue, I didn't have much money saved. In the end, the business crashed. During the summer after I finished high school, I was searching for a way to avoid college. I was inspired by the movie The Social Network and decided to come up with an idea for an app, hoping to become the next Zuckerberg.
Is he?
Yes.
How about now? You still wired in?
Looking back, I realized how foolish it was. I began developing an app called BookMe, which is a connection app. To start building my app, I hired a UX designer and talked to teams in India for development. I estimated that I needed $150,000 to get started, so I texted everyone I knew who had nice cars, hoping to pitch the app idea to them. One of the responses that I received had a significant impact on my life. I recall the moment vividly. I was on my way to my friend's house when he informed me that he would be leaving for college, and I had just learned that my plans to attend Pepperdine University in California had been canceled due to the pandemic. As I prepared for my online class after my friends left, I received a text from someone asking me to come over in 45 minutes and pitch my idea. I drove to Utah feeling nervous and sweating heavily despite being used to the Texas heat. Alex, the man I was presenting my idea to, was very intimidating. I entered the room with a laptop, opened my slide deck, and began my 2-minute pitch. It felt like an eternity as I nervously searched for any sign of his interest or disinterest. When I finished, I sat there, unsure of how to ask for funding. I looked at him and asked, "So, what do you think?" He stared back at me and said, "Jacob, I have a lot of money, but I wouldn't give you any money for this." I was left stunned by his response. To put it in different words, I was at a loss for words and I felt completely crushed. My aspirations of breaking free from the system and becoming a successful entrepreneur were shattered at that moment. I sat there feeling overwhelmed and uncertain of what to say. The investor then asked me why I believed I could make this idea work. I had a sense of confidence in myself, but I lacked any concrete reasoning to support it. I was convinced that if Zuckerberg could do it, so could I. However, he asked me a pointed question: "Do you know how to code?" And I admitted that I didn't. I mentioned that I was talking to developers, but he pressed on and he asked, "Do you know how to sell?" It was pretty obvious that he knew what my answer would be. He made it clear also that he was not convinced by my pitch and he wouldn't waste his money on me. It was then that I realized that I lacked skill sets and was a master of nothing. So I gave up on the app idea and decided to go to school and get a job. I was slowly accepting the fact that I would just be another mere employee of a big corporation. My dream of being the next Zuckerberg would never come true because I basically didn't know anything and had no skills that I was confident enough to use to start a business. However, I received a text from Alex a few days later asking where I lifted, and we started lifting together a few times a week. During those workouts, I got the idea to start a real estate business. To start my real estate business, I used up all my savings from the car washing business and even resorted to cold calling to analyze different properties. I decided to invest in a coaching program worth $12,000, which I couldn't afford up front and had to opt for a payment plan. However, as I ventured into the business, I soon discovered that I still lacked the necessary skill sets. After a few months, I found myself losing $3,000 to $4,000 each month. This was a difficult time for me as I didn't enjoy school, and my attempts at building businesses kept failing. I felt stuck and unsure of where to go next. There were times when I felt down and spent half of my day in bed due to depression. One day, I was at Alex's house and received a sales call. I felt ashamed to take the call in front of him, but I still answered it. After the call ended, which only lasted 5 to 10 minutes, I told him about the call, but he said that I was terrible at sales. Although it was tough to hear, I appreciated his honest feedback. To improve my sales skills, I asked Alex for advice, and he suggested that I just have to do it. He offered to help me get a job at Gym Launch, his company, in a bottom-level cold calling position. He warned me that I would have to go through the interview process, and if I got the job, it would be a grow-or-die situation. In order to succeed in the job, I had to make a lot of cold calls, and if I didn't perform, I would be fired. I managed to get the job after going through the interview process, and I started making cold calls immediately. One thing I learned was that doing some things repeatedly improves your skills over time, and that luck doesn't really play a role. Initially, I was good at it, but I got better as I made more calls. I began focusing on sales, dropped out of college, and put all my effort into mastering this skill. I shut down my other business and made a commitment to succeed. It was a challenging time where I had to sacrifice everything. After about 6 months, I received my first check for $375. Within 6 to 8 months, I was making $20 per month, which is unbelievable. In less than a year, I was earning more money than most of my friends' parents, all because I had learned and honed this one skill. If you want to be successful, it's more important to focus on learning valuable skill sets rather than trying to figure out what business to start. Skill sets like media and leadership are important to learn. By learning and stacking multiple skill sets, you can continue to get paid while gaining new abilities that will benefit you in the long run. Building skill sets doesn't make you poorer, and it's a smart investment for your future. That's my story, and I want you to learn from it. I want you to look at yourself and assess what skills you have now and how you can use them to earn more. We all have strengths, and it's up to us to discover them or improve them. That's it for today. I hope this video is a great help, especially for everyone who's thinking of starting a side hustle or a business. Thank you for watching, and I hope it was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for the next video and have a great day. See you soon.